Josie. Wow. Whew. I need a moment here. It has been about a month. Yeah, it's been a month. It's been a busy month as to why I didn't get to continue with talking about the relationship. And then also I was just like, it's just really always hard to talk about it. So I also postponed it for that. But let's just jump right into it because I'm going to be talking about the last of the breakup, to end it off with exactly how things ended, what had happened, so that way I can just get through these episodes and move past this and just continue to heal. As much as I just want to rush my healing process, I know I have to sit down and talk about it, and this is why this podcast is really therapeutic for me, because it requires me to sit in it, to talk about it as much as I may not want to, and to just look back at these episodes and see how far I've came, see how far I've grown, and just continue on my healing journey. Why is something telling me to check the video to make sure it's recording? I don't want to go ahead and start yapping and then at the end of the video look and then find out I was never recording. That would be death of me. So let's jump into it. I want to just talk about the last of what I was explaining about the breakup. That way I can end this video off and share about how I'm doing today, where I'm at now, because to think that we broke up 4 months ago, 3 months since he's moved out, is pretty crazy. Sometimes it feels like it was just a couple weeks ago. Sometimes it feels like it was 4 months ago. And then sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday. I think the shock is still partly there, but I think most of the shock has gone, and now it's just transitioned to a lot of mixed emotions still. Not necessarily like mixed emotions about how I'm healing, but towards him, just a lot of resentment. So let's jump into it. What I was talking about last video was getting to the point where I'll just flat out say it, that I found out he was cheating on me. Wow. I know I talk about it a lot with my peers, and I don't know, just saying it every time, as you saw, I have to stop myself and be like, damn, like, I'm like, that really happened to me. I think in the last video I also said it still feels like I'm telling someone else's story. Yeah, that's what it still feels like. It still feels like I'm telling a story or somebody else's story, but like, no. To say that he cheated on me, to say all of that is just really crazy and unbelievable, because I have to pinch myself and be like, is this the person that I lived with? Is this the person that I almost was with for 4 years? Like, it still doesn't seem like him. And just to connect the dots and just come to a realization like that I was cheated on and that it happened to me is where the shock just comes back. So I found out in February. So we were roommates for about 1 month, and that's when I was describing, when I was explaining of some of the signs that were leading up to how I found out that he was cheating. To just reiterate, he would say, I'm going to the beach to clear my mind. It'd be like 11 p.m. and I'm like, At that point, we still had our location shared with each other, and I noticed how it was just like constantly loading. And I know it was, maybe not right of me to check the location while we're still in the roommate phase, but I'm pointing these things out because there was a lot of suspicions of like, he's just acting weird, he's acting different. And I would say like, yeah, why does your location say that? And I wasn't pointing it out to be crazy and a crazy ex-girlfriend that still has their location shared, but it was like something in my spirit was just off. Like, I didn't suspect that he was cheating, so when I found out, I'll get to that, like, I was in complete shock. But I don't know, because a lot of this is just very spiritual. It was like my body was communicating with me something before my mind was, before my mind and my body were connected. It was like part of me just felt something was off, but the mind didn't think of cheating. It just was like something feels off. Something is weird, because I just noticed throughout the roommate phase is that he just handled the breakup like it just didn't affect him. And I'll give him this, like, for the first 2 weeks of the roommate phase, like, he would come home and we would have open discussions, and I'm like, boy, where was this at, during when we weren't together? Like, why are you now answering my questions, And so I will give him that, like, he would try to answer my questions, but where was I getting at? But after that, it started like he just was just handling it too well. Like, you could tell how someone's going through a breakup where they just look sad, they're not themselves, they're, maybe coming home and just feeling depressed. Like, they look depressed, right? Well, that's what I look like. And then on the other hand, he just didn't, he looked like he was going through it, but not necessarily, because he was just getting dressed up pretty much a lot, going out a lot, and I don't know, like, I know we were broken up and it was mutual, and how we said, like, we ended things, like, mutually, but, like, I don't know, I was even, like, thinking, like, how come he's not even checking up on me either? Like, hey, like, how was your day? Like, boy, I initiated everything. Even throughout the roommate phase, I was kind of like, hey, how are you? Like, how was your day today? And, I know it's awkward, but, like, we were mutual. It was a mutual breakup, right? So, like, you could still check in with me and, like, I don't know, just to see how we're doing. And I know I was also struggling with, like, having to cope with the fact that we're breaking up and realize, like, we're not together anymore. But it just really looked like his affect just looked like it wasn't affecting him as much as it was affecting me. And then also, as a result of that, he also wasn't in love with me. So yeah, he didn't look that affected like the way that I did, whereas I was still in love with him, where I was completely thrown off guard, whereas he was not in love with me. And yeah, it just looked like he was just handling this a little bit too well. And so yeah, other signs was that, yeah, he just started not to come home as much. Always was saying, I'm spending the night at my friend's house, they're helping me cope, I thought this was weird, but I didn't question it. He was in the shower for a long time, and he took many showers. Like, I felt like he, like, took, like, 3 showers a day. And I don't know, I thought that was just, like, a little weird to me. Now it makes sense, as I'll get to it. But yeah, he just would go out a lot. He would dress up a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and just going to the beach at 11 p.m. to clear his mind. Yeah, it was just it was just off. But I never in that roommate phase would have suspected that there was somebody else involved. Matter of fact, I'm glad that I said that sentence, because it was, again, I don't know why, but I actually did question him if someone else was involved. I wish I kind of like went back and like asked myself, why did you feel that way? But I think it was just my spirit. Like, I don't, again, like, I really didn't think that someone else was involved, but my spirit felt that way because I probably asked him a handful of times throughout the roommate phase, and in person would ask him like if someone else was involved. And I remember I was at that couch right there, and I think he was sitting on this bench, and I asked him, like, is there anyone else involved? And he took 3 long seconds to respond, but he looked me in the eyes and he said, no. And he said it like that, like, no. And, typically when you're asking someone something that's not true, in other words, accusing them of something, wouldn't you, be like, no, like, no, why would you think that? Like, no, like, wouldn't you, you kind of show some reaction, just very, no. Like, and it was just odd. The next day I asked him that. I said, I'm not trying to look too much into things, but it really just didn't sit right with me how you responded that long and you said no. He didn't respond to that. The day of, I found out that someone else was involved. I asked him that too, like, is there anyone else involved? Is there anything else, like, you want to tell me? Because I guess my spirit was really just feeling otherwise, and said no, no, but yeah, I'm really glad I remembered that, because I did question him, and I think at one point I did bring up the dream, like, that dream just keeps sitting with me of you cheating, denied it. And I think 2 months before we broke up, when all of this stuff happened, I think we talked about cheating too. And let's just say that he did admit, yeah, he did, no filter, I guess, he did admit of cheating, not with me, but like in the past. And was really shocked to hear him admit that. But I guess, as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. So let's fast forward. We're, like I already described, this was all these kind of things that I'm talking about was going on through the roommate phase. Let's fast forward to 1 month later, which was February of this year, 2025. So I found out the day when we signed off the lease, which this motherfucker was trying to have me do all the work, which was beyond me, because I know I needed my signature. But he was on a trip, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till he comes back from his trip, because I'm not doing this all on my own. Like, so he comes back from his trip, which at this point he was giving some signs that his life was looking a little bit crazy. And I'm like, Karma's already getting his ass. It was just all peaceful on my end, but it looked like his life was already, getting chaotic. That day, I also sensed a difference in his energy. He just seemed very irritable, just very dismissive. I ended up letting him know something that happened to me that was very uncomfortable for me. And he just basically, like, how I interpreted it, no, not how I interpreted it. See, I'm still trying to, like, I don't know. Anyways, no, it was not how I interpreted it. When I shared what had happened to me that made me feel really uncomfortable about, an older guy that made me feel really uncomfortable. You can just put 2 and 2 together, made me feel uncomfortable. I told him that, and a response that has some care in it would be like, I'm really sorry that happened to you. Like, you know, why didn't you confide in, like, not why didn't you confide in me, but like, it would, like, you can confide in me, like, thanks for letting me know that. He basically said, like, why did you let that happen? And I'm like, excuse me? You don't say that to a woman that's telling you something that another man did to her that made her feel uncomfortable. Like, where's your sympathy? And he did say, like, why didn't you, like, let me know? And I'm like, well, because, like, I didn't know you would do anything, because throughout the relationship, I didn't really feel protected by him. Like, I don't know which one was in the military, you or me, because I was the one that was, like, the soldier and the leader. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know, he was just different, and he just was really, like, antsy, really, like, just different. And, same thing, I asked him before we went in. I don't know what prompted me to ask this, but again, my spirit, I'm definitely loving these spiritual gifts that I have. But I asked him, like, is there anyone else involved? And as we were walking in, I believe that's when he was like, no, Marissa, there's no one else involved. And I'm like, okay. So we go in, we sign off the lease, and before we sign off the lease, I really felt bad throughout the roommate phase, because there were times where I crashed out. Now I don't feel bad anymore, and I'm like, yes, girl, like, you have every reason to crash out because you're human. And now to find out him cheating, I'm like, yeah, girl, like, I'm surprised I didn't do what crazy ex-girlfriends do and attack their ex-boyfriends and things like that. Like, I didn't do any of that. Like, I handled everything with such grace, and it's not even just that. I was just in shock. Like, I didn't even have... it was an out-of-body experience. I just was in a whole nother world, and yeah. Anyways. Before we went to go sign off the lease, I was really battling with myself, because as I said, I was crashing out, and I felt really bad. And so I didn't want, things to end off really rocky. I know we were mutual, but still. And so for some reason, I wanted to just for some reason I was fighting myself, because I really wanted to, like, just reflect about the relationship and thank him in the ways that he helped me really, evolve as a person and just taught me things. And for some reason, it was like my spirit or God was communicating with me, like, not to have that kind of conversation with him. And I'm like, I would, like, there would be times I just really wanted to highlight those things, and something always stopped me from doing that. And I ended up sharing that, and now I realize why God was communicating with me not to reflect and thank him, because now to find out that he cheated, I'm like, he didn't deserve that. There's no need to thank him, like, because had I known I was cheated, like, there'd be nothing to thank this man for. Like, wow. So that makes sense why God was also like, every time I wanted to just praise him, God was just like, done. And I'm like, but I don't want things to end off rocky, because, like, done. And then now, I wish I never, but I watched this video earlier on TikTok that was like, people will remember you as someone that always reflected God, which is loving and peaceful and forgiving. So that's also what I feel too, is like, I don't think he has nothing bad to really say about me, because what did I do bad? I don't know. Was I annoying, as he always has said, and other characteristics about me that pissed him off, like, that annoyed him? Yeah, but I had annoying traits rather than hateable, like, things that I did out of evilness. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, I put my hands up in the sky just knowing that I really did nothing wrong in the relationship, and that's why I'm not just playing the like poor me victim. Like, no, I actually really am the victim. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, the way that he did. So anyways, go in the leasing office. We signed off. That was really sad for me, and I'm like, wow, like that made it official. That's done. Like, that's it. We're no longer together. He's no longer my boyfriend. Like, that's it. You sign the lease, that's it. Like, you're done. So we go back to now my place, and he takes a shower. As always, he's taking a long shower, and I was sitting right in this chair, as ironic, because last time I was doing the video, I was sitting on that couch. I was sitting right on this chair. Everything has happened in this chair. And his Apple Watch was right here. And God communicated with me to go through his Apple Watch. And I'm like, God, what did you just say? God's like, go through his Apple Watch. It's right here. And I'm like, God, you really just telling me to invade someone's privacy? Really, God? Is that you? And I go through it. And I didn't see anything. God told me to do it again. The second time. And I'm like, you sure about that? I go through it. And I'm scrolling through messages, and I didn't have to do much scrolling. I found the name. I almost said this person's name, and out of courtesy, out of respect. I don't even know why I said respect. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm really like a good person. Just out of the right thing to do. I'm not going to say this person's name, but I saw her name and I didn't have to do much scrolling. I could not believe my eyes. I was just saying, I love you, baby. On my way. I'll be there soon, baby. I kept doing more scrolling. I'm so happy with you, baby. I can't wait to move in with you. I love you. They're just going back and forth. And I'm seeing now graphic pictures, and you can put two and two together. I'm seeing videos. I didn't click the videos because I'm already traumatized, but all I'll just share is just, I saw graphic photos on both of their ends, sending it to each other. I saw him doing inappropriate things in my bathroom, and I was just shocked and shaking in this damn chair. My mind just went blank and just filled with anxiety, shaking. I could not believe my eyes. I thought to myself, I think somebody stole his phone. I was that much in disbelief that I really was like, is this his Apple Watch or is this somebody's Apple Watch? But no, as I saw the videos and saw the photos, I'm like, nope, this is definitely his. Because that is definitely that person in that photo. And saying similar things, sending similar things, and saying similar statements that he said to me when we were in the talking phase. And something that really just, that entire thread just affected me, but something that was just like, wow, who the fuck is this person that I don't even know anymore, is when he's cooking her a meal, and I'm like, wow, like you couldn't even do that for me. I can count the amount of times this motherfucker cooks something, and I'm not the best cook, and I am still trying to get confident in the kitchen. But like, I'm sorry, this man has never made me a meal. Like, I don't remember what he was cooking, but to put some effort in that kitchen that he's doing for her, I don't remember getting that for me. Like, and throughout the roommate phase, I was cooking this for this motherfucker. Like, the least you could do was be like, hey, let me cook, you know? Like, I got it. But no, still was mooching off of shit and off of this place. Going from, yeah, one place to another. Now, as I can say, like, I just was in shock. Typically, how I would handle things would be with, you know, rage and, right? How every common ex-girl does, with rage and anger and beat the fuck out of the person, right? No. I was in that shock that I handled everything with such grace and such calmness. It was actually pretty concerning. Like, I was just so disconnected, and I just felt like I was a therapist that just had to de-escalate a traumatizing situation. I just felt like I was just working. I felt like I was working, where I'm just de-escalating, yeah, a session. And you have to handle things with calmness, and you're freaking out inside, and you're triggered as fuck, but you have to like compose yourself. I was really composed. I just talked with like such calmness. I didn't even have the capacity or the energy. I was that much in an out of body experience. I was just like, Kenny? And I remember him saying, yeah. And I'm like, with my voice shaking, you could see it on my face. I probably looked like a ghost. I was like, come here. And I was like, he came, and I'm like, sit down. And I'm like this in the couch. Just shocked. It felt like I was spooked. Like, so spooked that like I couldn't even talk. Like, you know how movies describe or show like when that character's just so like spooked or scared or traumatized, the whole world just stops. And time for the first time feels like it's slow. And you're just in the moment. Not in the moment in a peaceful way. Like in the moment, like, holy fuck. What the fuck just happened? Like, shock. In shock. In shock. And I'm just like this probably for a couple of minutes. Probably for a good 4 long minutes or 3 long minutes, just like, I'm just staring and just like, and I don't know what was going through his body, but you know when someone's like this and you're kind of like, yeah, hello, like, are you good? Like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You know how if you're someone just like that, you're like, you maybe start to feel that anxiety, like, hello? What? Hello? It was like he joined me in that shock, as if maybe, I don't know what was going through him, but like, as if he knew. I mean, I don't know what was going through his body. I mean, I don't know about him, but when I'm guilty of something, I'm on edge. I'm anxious and filled with anxiety, like, oh my God, do they know? Did they find out? Right? You know in movies how like the person that's clearly cheating is just like projects, you know, or is just always on edge, like, oh my God, are they about to say it now? I don't know what was going through his body, but I just want to say there was just silence. Like, he was sitting in that silence too, just like, I think maybe he probably said it a few times or none at all. I don't really remember, like, hello, what do you want to talk about? But I don't even remember. But after those 4 long minutes or so, I was just like, I'll react it right now. I was like, just staring at whatever was in front of me, the table. And I was just like, And then I looked at him and I'm like, my dreams and my visions and what God was telling me was right. Was right. That's how I started it off. I was like, the dreams that I had, the visions that I had, the voices that God was saying to me were right. God was right about you. And then I think I said, I was like, who's blank? And, you know, you would think when someone's accusing something of something that you did, typically people gonna fight back, right? They're either gonna fight back and get upset that you found out, or they're gonna continue to gaslight you. He didn't do any of that. He just played dumb, in my opinion, and was like, oh, that's you know, so and so that I've been over their house before. Like, says it, like, basically gives himself away and was like, yeah, the person I've been over their house before, like, while we were still together, like, the person that I'm not even gonna disclose, but the person that has blank thing at their apartment, and I would always go over there for that. And I'm like, my coworker. And then I think he also proceeds to say, the one that you said was attractive. I'm like, did this man just say that? And I only said that because I had suspicions back then that something again in my spirit was telling me that he was cheating on me. I remember there was one day I was just filled with anxiety that he was cheating. It was so random, and I'm like, I don't know why I feel like he's cheating. Probably was. I don't know how long, but probably was. And I don't know, I had these suspicions. And that's why I also said that, to see if he would admit at that time when I said that she was attractive, which she isn't, in my opinion, because she's an older woman. Now I'm disclosing too much information, but let's just leave it at that. But yeah, so I'm just like, why would he say that? That's a really narcissistic trait, is when people will do things like that, will admit things to like just get a reaction out of you. And it was like, do you enjoy seeing me like this? Like, no, like, for real. Like, that's actually another question that I have and all the questions I would love to finally get answered is like, I wonder if he enjoyed seeing me like this, because it's like the layers of the amount of hurt and betrayal I felt is just crazy. It's like, do you honestly enjoy putting me in that much pain? Like, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? And I know the answer to that is nothing. I don't deserve this. But it's like, why? Why stab somebody just like so many times when all they ever did was just love you? It felt like so many different stabs. The first stab is, I'm not in love with you. The second stab was feeling all that I felt in the relationship of not protected and not valued, and the gaslights, like all these different stabs, the stabs of not feeling like I was important or valued and just not treated right, disrespected, you know? The stab of me finding out that he cheated, the stab of how he handled the roommate phase, the stabs of, yeah, just everything. Like, so many stabs. That's exactly why I'm in so much pain, is I just feel like the amount of layers to this pain this breakup has caused me is just beyond me. And so I forget in order, but I just was in shock. It took me a while to respond, but I was just like basically giving him a lecture too, like, why would you do that? And didn't you learn anything from the breakup? And why are you jumping from one relationship to the other? Like I said, Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different result. He wasn't really saying much, but just as he always does, as he always doesn't say much, but was just listening and was just saying few comments like, I'm just gonna have to deal with the consequences. I'm like, grow up, man up, grow up. I was like, man up, like, you're almost 30, like, why are you gonna deal with just the consequences? Like, why would you do that? Like, you know, I wish I said so many things. Like, I said so many things that I'm just like, I was preaching. And, you know, of course I missed some things because that's gonna happen. I'm in shock, but I'm just kind of like, I mean, even if I did point out things like, oh, I knew it, like, or you literally lied to me, you gaslighted me, you continued lying. Even if I were to say all of that and be like, oh, so you really weren't at the beach at 11 p.m., you really weren't at your friend's house, were you really even on that trip? Like, all those things, like, more things that I wanted to say, and like, why her? Why didn't you just tell me? Like, you know, even if I said all that, this man never really gave a response anyways. Talking to him was like talking to a brick wall. So it's like, Marissa, give yourself some grace. Like, you preached to him, and I know he heard it all. And even if he wasn't, then life's gonna get him. But yeah, I was preaching, and I was just in shock, y'all. And everything, I wrote down everything that he did say, and the roommate phase of like trying to help me heal and how to get past this, and all those other things he said, all the conversations and all the times where he answered my questions and all that. It went out the fucking window. Because at that moment, y'all, I looked him in the eyes and I didn't recognize him. It was another layer of shock. I looked at him and I'm like, I literally was like, I don't recognize you anymore. I'm like, I don't recognize you. Like, I was just in disbelief that this person that I'm looking at, that I was in a relationship with 4 years, the person I slept with, the person that I was in love with, the person that I just did everything to just love this person and make this person my future husband. Like, I can't believe I'm looking the person in the eyes that I've lived with, that I was in love with, that I shared so much with, that I was literally preparing and waiting to get married with, like, would do me like that. Like, till this day, talking about it, I'm like, the betrayal. Like, are we really talking about Kenny? Like, this sounds like, and this seems like a different person. I looked him in the eyes. I did not recognize him. At all. As I looked through his eyes just got dark, and I just looked at him like he was just a different identity. If someone told me his name was Kevin, I'd be like, yeah, that's not Kenny, it's Kevin. Like, I would believe that this person I now was realizing became a different person. Literally, dating him feels like I was in a relationship with the devil. Someone who's disguising themselves as a good man, because temptation and the devil's not gonna be like what the media portrays him as. Red horns, dark cape, all red, like what a demon would look like with a tail. I bet the devil's a really handsome guy, and that's how the devil be working, right? Because he looks good, he feels good, that's what temptation is. And as I say that, I come to a conclusion, that's what Kenny was for me. He was a distraction. Wow. You see how, as I'm talking about this, more pieces come together, more a spiritual awakening comes of, like, he was just the devil in disguise. I mean, I even saw red horns on him. And I even saw, like, just really demonic things in him. And my nightmares were confirmed. Like, I was having a lot of nightmares, and I couldn't, and a lot of heaviness and anxiety, because and all my dreams were about a spiritual attack, because it was me fighting the person right next to me, the devil in him. It really was like I was in a relationship with the devil. I mean, I grew far away from God. I was doing things that I've never done before. My lifestyle changed because I was really influenced negatively from whatever Kenny did. Like, I pretty much did too, and I knew it was just sin. But I continued. I would have these dreams sometimes of, like, not to have sex, you know, and I didn't listen to it. I just kind of strayed away from God and made, without even knowing it, made Kenny my idol, you know, made Kenny my God, made him my everything. And that's what the devil aims to do, is just pull you away, pull you as far as you can get, and start to manipulate and gaslight you and deceive you into thinking like the person that you're with is really good for you, because that's what it felt like being with him. It felt like I was on an amazing high. It felt like it was the best drug ever that I never wanted to come off of, and it just honestly felt too good to be true. Too good to be true to be with him. I mean, I couldn't identify for the longest time of any imperfections in him. And that's the devil for you. He's going to perceive himself as perfect, as healed, as charming, as anything to lure you in. And unfortunately, as I perceive this, as the enemy has a stronghold on him. And it makes so much sense why God doesn't want me to be with him. Wow. See, I'm connecting the dots still to this day. So all my love at that moment, looking at him in the eye, at that moment, I'm like, I'm looking at someone that I actually don't know. And that's really sad. It's really sad. I'm looking at someone that fooled me. I'm looking at someone that gaslighted me. I'm looking at someone that just lied. And I don't know what was a lie anymore. I don't know if the 3.5 years of the relationship were a lie. I don't know if this whole time I was just used so that he could come to California. I don't know if he really did love me. I don't know what was the truth and what was not anymore. My entire love went out the window, and I felt like God needed me to see that with my own eyes, because he would have left being okay with the fact that I was convinced that this was mutual. And that's also something I said. I was like, you were going to take this to the grave. You were going to walk out this door after you get out that shower and say, see you tomorrow, or see you in a couple of days. Because he still had to move out at that point. And he was going to walk out that door, and he was going to be okay with the fact that it was just mutual. And I don't know if I said this, but I was like, it was never mutual. You were going to walk out that door. And it's not just you were going to walk out that door. It was, you continued to look me in the eyes, lying to me. Wow. Lying to me that it was mutual when you knew it was never mutual. That's the... Do you see what I'm saying here? He knew all along it was never mutual. He convinced me for 1 month in the roommate phase that it was mutual, when he knew damn well it was never mutual, because he was cheating for God knows how damn long. The dreams that I had on October 1st was that he cheated. I don't know if that dream was telling me he's cheating on you since October or before that, because he was going to this person's house for about months prior and lying, well, oh, I have to go over this person's house because I need to go. I don't know how long, and I won't ever know how long that he was cheating. I don't know if it was months. And he says that this all started, one of the few things that he said is that it started right after we broke up. Bullshit, don't believe that. I'm gonna go with my dream. That he's been cheating on me for months. God knows, maybe more than that. Because when I really started to, as I described in the videos, when I really started to feel the shift was like almost 2 years ago. That's when. Ever since he came out here to Cali and started working at that toxic ass job that he worked at, it's like he changed. Or it's like I never knew him and he just, you really do get to know someone, I guess, when you move out. When you move in with them. Actually, no. Going back to what I just said, yeah, you really get to know someone when they move out. Because even when I moved in with him and even living with him for 2 years and being here in California, I didn't know him. So that's why I'm like, it's like looking at a new identity, looking as a demon. That's really what it feels like. It's all spiritual. It feels like that was a demon in him, and that's why I was seeing spiritual things, hearing voices from God, and just all these things and all these signs that was just telling me to leave. There's just so many things to unpack. It's still so stressful. It's like you could have just broke up with me and been like, truth is, I'm not in love with you anymore because I'm in love with somebody else. And that would have hurt, but truth hurts, lies kill. And yes, I might have still been heartbroken, but at least you told me the truth instead of cheating on me and thinking that he was gonna hide all this and was so convinced that I will never find out. But I love how I started off with, you can't play God. That's what I said. I was like, you can't play God. You can't play God. You can't run from God and you can't hide from God. And that's why I do feel spiritually equipped and as strong as I have ever been with God, that he's given me these spiritual gifts, because oh my goodness, it was God all along that was telling me to leave. And I just didn't know why. I didn't know why. Break up with him. All those examples I gave in the other videos. Break up with him. The dreams. The voices, the visions, all these things. Go through his Apple Watch. Why, God? Why? Because you needed to find out who this man really was trying to perceive himself as. He's not a good man. And it's just so sad, because that's what I'm grieving, is the person that I did fall in love with. That's what I miss. That is what is so sad that's what's really sad. That's what's really sad. And then having to put the pieces and having to sit with the fact that either this man changed or this is who he really was and I just came to find that out, is just very hurtful. It's like, you had so much good potential to be a good person. I don't know what happened to you. He had so much good potential to be healthy, and he was healthy for when it lasted, but it's like, what were you doing all of that for? Like, was that really you, or was that to fool me? And that's why I'm like, I don't believe anything that he says. I don't believe anything that he says. Anything. Because I don't know what was true or what was not. In my eyes, you're a pathological, how do you even say it? Pathological liar. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. You're a liar in my eyes. You're not who you say you are. I don't know what is true and I don't know what is not anymore. Let me see how many minutes we're at. Oh, 10 more minutes and this makes 1 hour. But do you see where I'm getting at? Does this make sense to you? Do you see what I'm seeing? Are you hearing what I'm hearing? It was never mutual. And you were going to take that to the grave. And I said to him, how do you live with yourself? How do you sleep at night? Wow. And I was like, get out. And then when I said that, it was like I casted out a demon. I was like, get out, get out. At that point, as much as before, when I was like, oh, I'm gonna really like miss him and lose, and it's gonna be hard losing him. I was like, get out. Get out. Because how do you live with yourself? How do you do that to me? How? How do you do that to someone that was just trying to love you, bro? Like, what? Yeah, he didn't say much. He didn't really show much remorse. He actually stopped himself from apologizing. And he even pulled out his phone as I was talking to him, probably texting his girl. I'm like, I didn't even say anything. I was just like, bro, like, at this point, like, I'm just shocked. Yeah, he didn't really say much. It seemed like he stopped himself from apologizing because he said, I'm not even going to apologize because it's not going to fix anything. In my head, I'm like, actually, it'd be nice. I wish I said this, but again, I'm in shock. It would have been nice to hear that he was if he was sorry, because it just seemed like throughout this entire experience, even to the moment I caught him cheated, didn't really seem like he gave a fuck. Didn't try to defend himself, just was like listening, like he was a little boy that was in trouble by his mom, like just listening, just caught red-handed and just listening. But then again, I'm like, you know what, Marissa, you don't even want to hear an apology from him, because even if he was sorry, it wouldn't have been authentic. So it's like, wow. But that hurt, like everything about this situation is just so fucking hurtful. It's just like, I can't believe I'm actually talking about him right now. Like, I can't believe I'm talking about the person that I was in a relationship with for 3. I can't believe I'm talking about Kenny. Like, am I really talking about the person that I was in what? Just crazy. Yeah, and what he seemed concerned about was what my friends and my family would think. And I was just like, you're really concerned about that? I'm like, I'm embarrassed because they were right about you. That's what I said. Some of them had suspicions that he was cheating, and I was like, throughout the roommate phase, I was like, no, I was like, that's not, he would never do that. Like, I believe him that he just really just stopped being in love with me. Like, no. And that's the thing. Going back to the roommate phase, I was trying to, like, figure out, like, when did you lose feelings for me, and how did you not tell? It's like, you like food, or it's like you like seafood or you don't. Like, what do you mean? I don't know when I lost feelings for you. Like, what do you mean? How do you not know you lose feelings with somebody? You know when you're not feeling somebody. Like, are you that disconnected? But that's how you know I believed him, because that man was that disconnected with his emotions that I really was like, yeah, like, I believe it. He really did not know, but yeah, and he looked shocked, but he just also looked like he didn't show much remorse. So I just don't know what was going through that man's head or body. Yeah, just didn't recognize him. Yeah, all my love went out the window for him. I'm just forever traumatized, but I needed to find out, and I'm forever grateful that I found out. Thank you, God. But forever traumatized, like literally traumatized. And so he left for some event, and then he said that he's like, I guess I'll just like pack my bags tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah. Get the fuck out. Yeah. Just felt like I was tired too. I was just like, what more, man? I thought the hardest part was the breakup. And that's why I say there's part 1 and there's part 2. because I thought part one was, I didn't think there'd be any parts. I thought that was the hardest part, was ripping out the Band-Aid and be like, we broke up. But now to find out that he cheated, to find out that there was somebody all along, to find out BS for him to be like, oh, this all just started right after. It's like, no, it builds up. Because you're working with this person probably more than you see me. Like, the chemistry builds up. I'm not dumb. I don't just fall in love because I fall in love. Like, it builds up. Like, fuck out of, like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Like, it just happened unexpectedly. Like, you work with this person every day for 2 years. You could have been cheating on me for 2 years. No wonder why he never wanted me around his school. Never wanted me around his school. Talk about, oh, the kids, I just don't want the kids in my business. Like, they're, middle schoolers. They're like, ooh. They try to look you up on Instagram. Nah, fuck out of here. You never wanted me around. Never wanted me around. How I feel. Heartbroken, betrayed, backstabbed, used, gaslighted. Like, it was all an illusion. I feel used. I feel like he just wanted to come out here to California, because everybody wants to come out here to California. Everyone wants to get out of the East Coast. So I'm just like, you just being an opportunist and using me because your excuse was I got out of the military, so you're just using me? This love fed my delusions and convinced me that he was the one. It fed my magical thinking that Prince Charming's gonna pick me up off my feet and that I was gonna get married to this man. Like, it fed my delusions, but he also was convincing me that was the life that he was going to give me. I feel deceived. I have so many questions, even more questions than I will ever have, because I'm the one that found out everything. Like, just had I never had that conversation with him, the first video, the conversation when I'm like, I don't know how I feel about us, tell me how you really feel. Like, if I never, like, he would have never said anything. And that's another thing that I said to him. I was like, when were you going to tell me this? Couldn't respond to me. I would have laughed in his face if he was like, oh, I eventually was going to tell you. When? When I die? Like, that's another thing. When was I going to find out about all of this? Wow. So many questions. And I just can't comprehend. Problem solving just runs through my mind, and I will never solve this equation. I will never solve this problem. I will never know why a person would do me like that. Never know why he would cheat. Never know when or how I find out, or when he would tell me. I have so many questions. I just don't get why someone like him would do this to me when all I ever did was just love him. I'm gonna remember him as someone that fucked me over, and he's gonna remember me as someone that just did nothing but annoyingly love him. Where I went wrong is the next topic. I was very clingy. I was needy. But it was all from a good place. Like, when I love somebody, like, I don't know, there's no boundary in my love. And I'll admit it. It got to a point where I guess it was very overbearing and too much. But it wasn't, like, you don't have to worry about me cheating because I'm obsessed with you from head to toe. And I understand that when we would talk about the parts of me that were just too much. And I get it. I am very clingy. I am very needy. I'm an attention whore. Like, I want your attention. I just want to be with my person. I was overbearing with my love, and I can see that. I maybe didn't respect his boundaries when maybe he told me, okay, like, I need my space. I need my personal space. And I will admit this, I would manipulate him to get attention because I just always just wanted more and more of him, and did it to a point where, okay, like, that's where I went wrong, manipulating him to get attention just to be with him. I was draining. I mentally, I go through a lot of mental health issues, and it can be draining to deal with that. But then I also am like, you know what, Marissa, but everyone has their own things where someone is going to be draining, but I understand it is a lot to deal with someone with mental health. I talked a lot, and I know that's something that really drained him. But at the same time, I was like, you know what he was getting himself into. But I talked a lot, and maybe I didn't make him feel like he could breathe, I guess, or give him the space that he needed. And I see that, and I feel bad, and it made me feel like it was too much, and like, I'm sorry. I am sorry that, but man, I just fucking loved him, I was impulsive, and it was a lot to deal with that, and he would have to ground me a lot, and I can see how it can be pretty exhausting to just ground somebody that is just very, impulsive or all over the place. I was controlling, I wanted him to myself a lot, and I was controlling the way of, like, I planned so many things to do, and maybe I didn't give him opportunities to say yes or no to those things. But I had good intentions. I just wanted to show him California. I wanted him to feel, like, adjusted. I wanted him to feel happy here. I was always, like, cautious and felt bad if he felt homesick. I just wanted him to enjoy California, and I wanted to show him, like, how fun California can be, and maybe to decrease those feelings of, like, any homesick that he probably had. Like I said this, I didn't respect his boundaries when he asked, like, I need my personal space, like, allow me to just play my video games, I just always wanted to be with him and just do everything with him, and that's really true. So maybe I'll admit, like, it was overbearing, and I, like I said, didn't allow him to breathe. But nonetheless, I said I never had any bad intentions or evil intentions. I just had so much love, and it wouldn't stop growing. It just would not stop growing for him. And yeah, where and how am I feeling now? I'm very strong, and I really see that in myself. I can't believe I'm pushing myself, even as a therapist, to be there for others when I really need the most saving. But I am very heartbroken, as you can see, and I just still can't wrap my head around this, and I'm still processing this. I'm still grieving. I no longer can say I wake up with that heaviness of that anxiety on my chest, and that feels so good to say that, but I still do have just these nightmares and just deep night, like, dreams that are just like, that I'm kind of going through spiritually and trying to, like, explore that with God. And as a result of all of this, I am back in therapy, and I'm trying medication for, I'll just say, the first time. I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I just want to become the best version of myself, and I want to heal as much as possible and lean on to support when I know I need it. And so I'm at the point where I'm like, I need a medication. And so I got re-diagnosed with PTSD with all of this. And so I'm on medication for what I really need help with. I really lost my appetite a lot, so I'm on medication for that as well. And I'll be pretty open if you'd like me to be about, my experience with medication and that journey. But yeah, I still get flashbacks every day. I'm still just grieving every day. I feel drained. I feel overwhelmed. I'm dissociating. My social battery is low. But I'm as close as I am ever been with God, and I'm really proud of myself. There's no desire in me to want any male attention. I'm just solely focusing on myself and God, and I'm really proud. I'm really proud and also just really heartbroken at the same time. Is like, is that possible to be going to be your strongest yet to be at your lowest? It's pretty crazy. I'm just pacing myself the way that I know my body needs to be, and I'm just trying to listen to myself. But yeah, at the same time, I said that I kind of also feel numb. and things like that. I'm sorting that out myself, but I'm surrounded by friends and family and just so utterly thankful for all the support, even from Kenny's community too. Everyone has been really loving for me, and it's given me exactly what I need. But yeah, I've just been really close with God and just, exploring my own spiritual well-being, and I'm on a social media break. I deactivated my Instagram, and I'm just, focusing on my podcast and myself too. And, I tried boxing for the first time. I'm dancing when I feel like it. I'm going to church pretty much every Sundays. And yeah, I'm just proud of myself for doing the right things, and I feel like a good person. But yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm also going through like the most hardest thing ever, and it's hard to be alone, but it's also very empowering, and it does feel really liberating, and it does feel like I'm doing the right thing, but also just going through so much. And yeah, to end this off, I wrote, in 6 months, I like to heal, I like to lose weight, I like to work on my other passions, I like to pass the law and ethics exam that to become a licensed social worker. I like to change my appearance, maybe cut my hair and change my fashion style. I like to start my true hobbies and continue that, and continue to get close to God, and maybe eventually get baptized, and just have a solo trip. And speaking of a trip, I'm facilitating my own women's retreat next weekend for a long weekend. I'm really excited about that. I was initially going to go by myself, but I'm like, you know what? I need community, as much as community as possible. And what better way of getting far away from California, going out into nature and just connecting with nature and connecting with friends. I said that I'm still handling things with so much strength, work, I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it spiritual. I'm still single, clearly, and focusing on me. I'm still working out at the gym. I'm trying just one day per week, more if I can. And yeah, but that's basically it of exactly everything that has happened. I still, like I shared, can't believe it. I'm still in disbelief, but at the same time, I'm proud of myself that I'm getting through this, and I'm grieving, I'm processing, I'm healing. As much as I want to fast forward the healing process, I know that I need to just go through every step. And so I just pray that God just continues to speak to me and speak through me, and introduces me to many more people in my life that are needed for me rather than harming me. And I just pray that I continue to do the right things, and take care of myself, and just to give myself everything that I need to be okay and satisfied. But that's basically everything. Yeah, it's been 4 months since we haven't been together, 3 months since I kicked him out, since he's left my life, and every day is unknown. Good days and bad days, but I'm getting through it. If you have watched this all the way, thank you so much. You have no idea how important it is that I feel heard during this time. I'm not just sharing this story to bash anybody, but to also just share authentically what I went through. And I know there's for sure other people that have been through what I've been through. And this is my story. And I appreciate you if you really listen, because I do need all the support I can get. And it just means a lot if you really did get through this entire thing. But nonetheless, this is how I heal. This is how I cope, is just venting and talking and sharing about my life. Well, next episode, moving forward, will be continue on where I'm at in life, and stay tuned for more episodes on More of Marissa podcast. And thank you all, and I hope you all have a blessed rest of your week. All right, y'all, enough talking. My throat is dry, and I'm done talking about all this. All right, y'all. I'm proud of myself, though.